You're listening to The Dating Den with dating and relationship badass and best-selling author Marni Batista. Every week, you'll get the raw truth from top experts and real people on the important dating, sex, and relationship issues you want to know about. So if you're ready for true talk that's authentic and unfiltered, and you're not afraid to be called out on your stuff, then you're ready for what's next.
The Dating Den, episode 86 with Lisa Woodruff. Moving in together or still single? What to do when you're stuck in organizational quicksand. Welcome, ladies, into the Dating Den. It's early morning here in the den. Watch the sunrise. No, it's not that early, but actually, it is early. And today's guest is somebody who I'm super excited for you to hear and for me to talk to, because I got to tell you, I'm remodeling this huge part of my house, this kitchen dining room thing. And in demoing it, I realized that I keep a lot of stuff. And my husband, when we got married, was really all about simplicity and removing clutter. And for me, I have this thing of like nostalgia and keeping things. And what I realized is that it can become a dynamic in your relationship. Clutter and keeping things and nostalgia can keep you tied into the past. And I thought, we need to bring in an expert to talk about this in the Dating Den, which is why I have brought in, drumroll please, the amazing Lisa Woodruff. She is the founder of Organize 365, the creator of the 100-Day Home Organization Program, which sounds amazing, the Sunday Basket Workshop and Sunday Basket Workshop Paper Organization Certification Program. She's also written a lot of books that you probably want to pick up: The Mindset of Organization, Take Back Your House One Phase at a Time, and How ADHD Affects Home Organization. And what I love about Lisa is, this is so brilliant, why she's here. She believes that organization is not a skill you're born with. It's a skill that is developed over time and changes with each season of your life. And she's helped thousands of women reclaim their homes and finally get organized with her focus on functional organizing, encouragement, I love that, and humor. Because, if you can't laugh, then you're going to cry. And she also has the podcast Organize 365 and Professional Organizers Think Tank, which I got to add those to my list. Lisa, welcome into the den.
Marni, thank you so much for having me.
I'm super, super excited. So I got to ask you, just the title of your podcast, it's Organize 365. When I hear that, I'm like, oh dear. I think I'm disorganized 365. What's that come from? Why did you go that way? And why is it important?
Well, when I started this company, January 2012, right after I quit my teaching job in December 2011, big no-no, by the way, I wanted to start a business. I was turning 40 that I could do literally for the rest of my life. Like, what's one thing that I could literally talk about for the rest of my life and never get bored? And it was organization. So Organize 365 seemed like it would be a good SEO title. So that's what I titled the company. And actually, I would say this summer, which is 6.5 years after starting the company, I'm finally to the point where when you come to Organize 365, there are actually resources for getting your home and paper organized in 1 year. But it took me 6.5 years in order to simplify it and create a program that was doable for the average American woman to do and get organized in 1 year.
I love it. First of all, I was a teacher who said maybe not. So I feel you. Oh. I love it. So, yeah. Which, by the way, ladies, it's fun to work with grown-up teachers because we're really fun and we're really patient. So there you go. So let's talk about motivation, because I feel like motivation, procrastination, when I talk to women, and we were talking before the show. I know, ladies, there are some of you out there that live in these amazing condos or homes, and you have rooms that you just put the boxes from the last time you moved. Yep. And then you have, that other room where you've got your clothes that don't fit anymore. So how do we motivate ourselves to, open the door and finally, take charge?
Honestly, a lot of it's mindset, and I'm sure that's what you work on so much in this show, is how we think about things. Usually our outer world is reflective of our inner world. And so as you're talking about all those things, I'm thinking about the single woman who's trying to date. I used to do in-home professional organization, and hands down, our best clients ever were the ones that were previously divorced. They were successful in their own right. They'd gotten their career together. They had said, I'm going to live my own life for me. And they had found a love interest, and they were ready for him to move in or to get married. And all of a sudden they would call us in as professional organizers, and literally they basically wanted everything out. And as soon as everything was out, they were getting new carpet and a new spouse and a new everything and a new life. And I got my MRS degree in college, which means Mrs. Like, that's what I went to college for. I was like, I want a Mrs. And while I was there, I got a teaching degree. So that was my goal. So I did not struggle with finding a husband, but our children are adopted. We were never able to have children. I always wanted to have children. And so infertility was the thing I struggled with. And what I find is if you're struggling in love or you're struggling in infertility, in both of those instances, we tend to hold on to physical items for the future we thought we would have.
That's
so
deep. That's
yeah.
deep.
So you're holding on to the baby items or the stuff because you thought you would adopt children. You're holding on to this, that, or the other thing because you thought you'd have someone next to you to do whatever that is. And a lot of what we see in our outer world is reflective of the process we're going through on the inside. And when you clear away that stuff, like if you were actually to get your place completely clutter-free and exactly how you want it, then what? Then what will you do with yourself?
Well, right. And so that's exactly it, because I have clients, and I hear it all the time from listeners. It's like, they have this fear of actually having someone into their home. Right. Mm-hmm. And so then the answer to that question is, well, crap, then I can't. Yeah. And that was
I can't.
That was my excuse, right? Mm-hmm. For not dating. So what do you do?
So you have to realize that that's what you're doing. I remember, I didn't watch Dr. Phil a lot, but when I was in high school, I remember this one Dr. Phil episode, and he said, you're getting something from whatever it was that they were holding on to. I can't remember. And he would say this over and over again. Whatever that is, you're getting something from that. So like you said, having the cluttered house is giving you that excuse not to have to be vulnerable and let somebody in. You're getting something from, because you don't want it there. Like, if you're listening to this podcast, you're thinking, well, yeah, she's right. I want those boxes to be emptied, but why haven't you finished emptying the moving boxes? Sometimes it's legitimately you don't know where it's going to go, or you don't have the space, but more likely it's stuff that you don't really want, but you don't know how to tell your mom that you don't want grandma's china, or maybe you'll be that physical size again, even though you're on antidepressants and you can't lose that 30 pounds, or, whatever it is, whatever is in that box is representative of something you thought you would have, want to have, or will never have again, but you don't know how to let go of it.
Damn. So, well, that's so powerful. So for when you would work with single women and the clients that you have and that come to your site, your show, what is the hardest or most common possessions that single women have a hard time letting go of? Is it clothes, size clothes? Is it things from their marriage? What is it?
Wow, that is trying to think of an answer to that one.
It's Stump the Lisa time.
That's right. This has never been done before. People are going to be like, how'd you get her to stop talking? We've never been able to get her to stop talking. I just think it is memories and I do so much mental work myself, growing my business, and I'm now achieving levels of success I didn't know were possible for a woman who's also staying home and taking care of kids and stuff. And I'm having to change my mental picture of what could be.
Yes.
And what will be next beyond what my parents did and our neighbors are doing and what I see every day. I just think so much of it is the internal work. So there was one single girl I worked with. She was about 21. She definitely was working her way towards being a hoarder. And she literally could not separate the memory from the item. So like we would run into a bottle cap and she would say, but I had that root beer with this person from high school and I like this person from high school. And so we'd have to keep the bottle cap. Or she also was really into recycling. So when we wanted to get rid of nail polish, we had to empty out the nail polish container, clean the nail polish container, recycle the glass. And then she saved all of the little brushes. because she didn't know how to recycle them for something in the future. And so it's that idea of letting go of the memory with the stuff and then getting rid of the physical stuff. I mean, more and more today, we're very aware of what's ending up in landfills.
Yeah.
And we don't want to add to that problem. But the problem is there is a lot of stuff that can't be recycled. And there are a lot of people naturally decluttering in their 70s, 80s, and 90s. And the quantity that's going into the landfill, that's an environmental issue that people are really wrestling with. I bought it, I don't need it, but I don't want to throw it away. What do I do with it?
Yeah, totally. That's a whole other show.
So those two issues, though, the emotional and then the environmental, are probably the two biggest one for single people.
Yeah, that's amazing. So when you say like get started, like and talking about what motivates us. So how can organization and taking control of the things in our home help us achieve our goals, especially when it is, around creating connection and intimacy?
So I think what I normally speak to women who have children, and normally I say walk around the house with a black trash bag until you can't fill it up anymore, and that can take like a month. In this instance, I would say something totally different. Either pick your kitchen or pick your closet, one of the two, whichever one you think will be easier for you. Neither of them are going to be easy. And I want you to go through that space. And when I lead you through that space, it takes me 21 days to get you through your kitchen because I only do 15 minutes a day. But we do the silverware drawer for one whole day. Yeah. And then we do your spices. And then we do your refrigerator, which is more than 15 minutes. And then we do but one drawer, one cabinet at a time. I want you to take everything out. And then I want you to look at everything on your kitchen counter. Are these dishes you even like? Do they match? Do you have enough? Do you have too many? What in your world where you come home and you make dinner for yourself and you're happy with yourself, or somebody comes to join you, do you have the dishes that you want to serve on? And then put those back in the cabinet and make it on a list. If you're like, you know what, I would like to get a set of 2 plates that I really like at Crate and Barrel this month. Put that on the list. Then silverware, then everything. Or go through your closet. Same thing. Take all the shoes out of the closet, put them on your bed, look at them. Which ones do you look great in, feel great in, fit you? They're tailored. They match your style and your aesthetic right now. What are your favorite shoes? And really come home and start enjoying your kitchen. Have it be organized, have it be functional, enjoy the foods that you're eating, that they're good for your body at this time. And same with the clothes. You've got 6 outfits that you look great in, you feel great in, and add 1 new outfit every month and start to declutter the old ones that you don't feel as great in. Organization is all about you and looking and feeling great and living your best life. And your kitchen and master closet are where you're going to start that.
That's so true. I'm super happy we're talking about the kitchen because literally, so I have all these boxes, right? Because I had to take every single thing out of my damn kitchen. Who knew how many sets of silverware I had, right?
Right.
And so my husband, who I've been with for 10 years and married to for 4, just having that, he works at home also. We're like passing in the hallway. He's like, hey, we're going to put that kitchen back together. He's like, I do not want everything from those damn boxes back in that kitchen. But what's crazy, Lisa, is my little prickly got up and I was like, oh, you're going to make me get rid of the bowl that I got from my mom, who got from my great grandma.
Right.
And so it's crazy, and I have a vision of what I want. And this is why I think it's so brilliant what you said. I have a vision of the possibility of what it could be like. I want to be like the home on blah, 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 any DIY makeover show. And what I notice is that fear of losing control, a memory. And so what I want to talk about next is those ladies who are getting ready to combine lives, because we do have a lot of listeners who are, moving in together. And so what are some of the common pitfalls or traps that couples get into when they're blending homes, and what can they do about it?
Well, the number one issue is when you move into one house that one person has been occupied. If you both move into a central new home, it's totally different. You all go in on even territory. But if one of you moves into a home where another person has been living, then it's like for them to declutter or make room for you, they don't give up as much and you don't get to bring in as much. So it's not 50-50 in the stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, totally.
So one thing I usually recommend, especially if there are children involved, is that both of the man and the woman or whoever get a independent storage unit and they move items into that storage unit. Especially a lot of times we have teenager and college age kids in this scenario.
Yeah.
And so there may be things that they want to have for their first home or when they finally get settled in their late 20s, early 30s, but they're having to get rid of it at the age of 16 and 18 just because there physically isn't space in this new house. And really respect the kids' memories and heritage and, what they want for their future. It's not that expensive to get a storage unit. I mean, even if it's $100 a month, that is not a lot of money to have your kids have a say and be able to keep some things that they may get rid of 5 years from now, but at least it's on their terms to get rid of this stuff. I really like to preserve the kids' ability to get rid of stuff that you don't want.
Totally.
Also, to go space by space. So to go through the kitchen, who is going to be the primary cook, who enjoys cooking more, defer to them to keep their kitchen supplies, and then you just bring over your favorites and go ahead and get rid of the rest. Like if you don't have teenage and college age kids, go ahead and donate it. I like Goodwill. I really like Goodwill. They do a lot for the special needs community in our area. They recycle almost everything that they don't sell. They recycle. So you can even give them individual socks and holy and ruined clothing, and they have a whole recycling program for that, and they use the special ed community for that. So just donate it. Just take cars and cars and cars of stuff over there and really try to blend your lives, looking at each other's strengths, not trying to territorially keep space in whichever house you're in.
Yeah, that's huge. I when my husband moved in, my kids were 7, maybe 7, 10, 12. And I still had my strollers in the garage.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, and also he'd never had kids. So he was like, kids this age don't use strollers, right? I was like, but it's my Emmy Younger beautiful stroller that I got from my mom, you know? And it was just, it was, really crazy. And so I think what I love about what you're saying, and I think this is super important, is to have compassion and an understanding of the person, if it's not you, who's coming into an already established home.
Yeah.
And and do you say like, this is your space? Or like, how do you sort of do it more as a team instead of going, okay, I cleaned out this closet and you can put your 7 things in there?
Yeah. So I'm thinking of the houses that we did this way. In this instance, we went through the house and we decluttered it before the new spouse moved in. And so we went room by room, eliminating as much as possible. And this person didn't want to get rid of a lot of their things. And they also were the one that had children in the family. But it was making the spouse that was moving in not really have any space in that house. So one of the suggestions we had was, because the children were college age, was to take one room that became hers and that all of his stuff got moved out. I think they actually even put new carpeting in for her and it became her closet dressing room. And so then that whole entire bedroom became like her sanctuary, and everything in there was hers. She definitely didn't end up with 50% of the house, but at least she had ownership of some space. It's really important that everyone have ownership of some space in every house. When I talk about organizing kids' bedrooms, I refer to my children's bedrooms as their mini apartments. And that's how I have a kids organizing, podcast series. And I teach kids that their bedroom is their mini apartment and they have to go to the landlord if they want to get anything changed in their room. But they are responsible for cleaning and organizing that room and really maintaining that space, which is also teaching them how to then move into a dorm room, an apartment, a condo, a house in the future. Like you just keep making your house bigger. So every person needs to have a space in the house that is just theirs and that they have complete ownership over. So if it can't be 50-50 in the house, then consider having that spouse have one room, an office, dressing room, a reading room, a craft room, whatever, that is just theirs for them.
I love that. Okay. So you have this whole body of work around the effects of ADHD on people's abilities to stay organized. I wanted to talk about that because I think that for a lot of people, it's this, it turns into this piece around shame, right? Like there's something wrong with me. And it just, for all of you single ladies, it's just part of the evidence that we have, like, what's wrong with me? Am I not lovable? And, then we go global and we talk about all of the things that impact. So for you, like, what have you noticed about the effect of ADHD on people's ability to stay organized?
Yeah, exactly what you said in the beginning. They feel less than, they feel shamed. They feel like, I should know how to do this. Like, why don't I automatically know how to do this? we don't automatically know how to cook? By the way, I don't even cook. Why do we feel like we should automatically know how to be organized? And often if you were a child with ADHD, school was really difficult for you. You never felt organized at school. Your room was probably a hot mess. And back when we were growing up, that was not called ADHD. We were called lazy, which is not true. But you took on that name. And so then you think, well, I've just never been good at this. I never can be good at this. And because I love organization and because I'm a teacher and both of my children have pretty severe ADHD, ADHD is a spectrum disorder. It affects the 8 executive functions that everyone has in their brain. No one has perfect executive functioning, by the way. But ADHD can affect just 1 or 2 of those 8 functions. In my son, it affects 7 out of the 8, which is pretty significant. And there are a lot of things. My kids went to a special school for ADHD and learning disabilities. So I learned a lot about the strategies and tips and tricks that they taught my kids to overcome these inherent disabilities. Like you cannot change your executive functioning, but you can change your surrounding. You can change the people who work with you and help you overcome some of these. And then as I was studying this, I was like, oh, almost all of my clients that I was physically organizing either had ADHD or thought they had ADHD, and it was these executive functions that were impacting their organization. So I took all 8 and I broke them down. I was like, here's what it is. Here's what it does. Here's how it causes disorganization in the house. And here's what you can do about it. And it's a really short, easy to read book.
I love that. So here's the thing. What I hear you saying, because you're a mindset girl like me, is like you can make anything your excuse.
Yep.
Right? Like it can be, I have ADHD. It could be, I'm just disorganized, right? Or, after I finish this project at work or, whatever. When I start dating, then I'll
when I lose 10 pounds.
When I lose 10 pounds, right? Then I'll blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
And so I'm a proponent here of calling people on their shit. So for you, like, what's the wake up call? Like when someone has an excuse mindset and they walk into their home every day and they see crap and it triggers the I'm not enough button, even though it's low key. What do you say to those people, Lisa?
So I remember when this happened to me and I was like, I can't grow my business because my husband won't let me go out at night. My children have special needs, blah, 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 blah. I had this whole list of these reasons why I couldn't grow my business any bigger. And I don't remember the podcast I was listening to, but the host said, has there ever been anyone in your situation or worse who has done what you want to do? And I was like, okay, yeah. So has there ever been anyone who was unmarried with however many kids you have, with whatever their needs are, and you have ADHD and you're the sole supporter who has found love and gotten married again? Yeah. Who has decluttered and organized their house? Yes. Who has lost 10 pounds and blah, blah, blah? Yes. Like there's always someone who has done it. So if someone has done it, then it's able to be done and there is no more excuse. Done. End of story.
That's so awesome. Mic drop, baby, except we have some more time, so we won't drop the mic.
Awesome.
And I want to talk a little bit more about mindset, because here's what I say about dating, right? We have emotional clutter. People have man clutter. Ladies, you know what that is, right? It's those guys that you're just texting with. You don't really want to go out with them, or that guy from the past, or your ex-husband. You got emotional clutter, man clutter, and you got real life clutter in your life. So for people who are really in that place of clutter, where do they start? Is it the trash bag? Is it just making the decision? What can they do now to start taking control of the external clutter?
Yeah, what I find people do is they're really good at getting the trash bag and decluttering the visual that they can get rid of, and they do that for probably about a week, and then they run out of steam and then they're done.
Yep.
And the 100-day home organization program was created because people can do surface decluttering, and sometimes they can even organize certain rooms in their house. They just can't organize all of them because they don't have the skills yet. They haven't learned how to organize a storage room or a garage or kids' clothing or whatever it is. And so there is some learning that needs to be done. So you don't need to buy any of my programs or any of that, but really discipline yourself. I want you to pick one space. I usually say a master bathroom or a laundry room are the best ones to start this with if you're going to do it all on your own. Laundry room, wherever you do your laundry, or your master bathroom. And your goal is to go in there for 15 minutes every single day. You can declutter, you can organize, you can reorganize things, you can clean, you can do whatever you want. And you have to keep going back in that same exact space for 15 minutes every single day until there is literally nothing left to do. Like you cannot wipe the fingerprints off the light switch anymore. All of the cleaners have been lined up facing forward. It's beautiful. It's like almost like Pinterest, and I'm not even a Pinterest organizer. Once you have that one done, go do the other one. And if that takes you 3 months to do your laundry room and your master bathroom, I don't care, because you are learning the discipline of 15 minutes a day of decluttering and organizing. You are pushing yourself through the hard stuff. You're not just getting through the decluttering and, okay, I'm good at cleaning, so I'm going to clean and I'm going to catch up on the laundry, which usually is what people do too. But you're getting yourself all the way to the level of, oh, that organizer doesn't work over there, and let me try it over here. And you're doing it in spaces that nobody really cares about. So and nobody's going to mess up. Like nobody's going to come in and mess up your laundry room because nobody wants to be in there. I love to be in mine. So that's the first space I did, was really discipline myself to keep going back and back and back. I put up yellow wallpaper. Like I did a lot of fun things in my laundry room when I really tackled that room, because nobody cared what I did in there, and I got to practice and experiment. But I made myself go in there every day, which pushed me through the hard things of like, well, is it really all the way organized? Are you sure there's nothing else I can get rid of? Are you sure there's no other way that I could better organize this? And then you maintain that one when you go to the next one. And then if you also do your master closet and you also do your kitchen, you've now hit 80% of the areas that you spend your time in other than your bedroom.
I love that. And by the way, I want to say 15 minutes, and it's, people will say, oh, I don't have time for that, right? Or I don't want to wake up early, or and it's
has there ever been anyone in the world that
Well, yeah, and is it you're listening to this damn show, you clearly want love. Right. It's not worth 15 freaking minutes of your time.
Yeah, listen to this while you're cleaning.
Yes, and your show, of course. Subscribe. But that's the thing is people are like, oh, it's too much and that doesn't really matter. And I say bullshit. I mean, it's emotional clutter, man clutter, physical clutter. Because I cannot tell you, when I ask ladies, what's one or two things that you're tolerating in your life right now? Yep. Every single person mentions a space.
Yep. Every
single person. So don't kid yourself and think that it doesn't matter. Okay. Last question. What is Lisa's favorite, what's the right word? Technique, tip? Let's pick one of those rooms, whether it's you pick the kitchen or the master bathroom, a way to organize or to do something or to think about something that maybe they wouldn't have ever thought of on their own about how to organize something.
So my favorite way is the system I developed called the Sunday basket.
Okay.
So the Sunday basket is literally this box that sits on your kitchen counter, and it's where all of your ideas go, everything you need to do, all the papers the kids give you, the mail, everything goes in this box. And then on Sunday, you empty out the box, and there's a system for putting things in different kinds of slash pockets. But you go through the box, you fill out your calendar for the week, you plan your week, you pay all your bills, you get all your to-dos done, and then you literally don't have to touch your household paper for another week again. Everything just keeps going in the Sunday basket if it can wait until Sunday. And then on Sunday, you handle all of those things at once.
I love that. You know, the thing that changed my life was when I did that Sunday thing. I'm going to get a cool basket, though, because I like the Container Store and other online stores where you can buy products.
I have a basket, too. I have an actual basket now. Yeah, I had to manufacture it. Yeah.
I love it. Is the basket on your website?
Yes, okay. On sundaybasket.com.
I'm getting it, because I'm going to have my new badass kitchen. I made a commitment. My husband and I high-fived him, clutter-free for the rest of our lives. We're going to have these beautiful new countertops. So I love meal planning, and a lot of our clients, I know this too, they're like, I'm too busy to eat healthy. BS. So when you do that Sunday thing, you could make your grocery list. You could do your meal planning. You could take care of your paperwork.
Exactly.
You could leave
all of it.
You can put time in your calendar for dates. Just saying. Yep. Okay. Just saying. Awesome. So last question for you. If you were to think about that, going back to that mindset piece, and you give someone that vision of what could be, is there a tool? Is there a meditation? Is there something that you recommend your clients do to really get into the possibility of what can happen when you think about what, like you said with your business, what could be?
Yeah, I was just thinking about this the other day. I've never done a podcast episode on that, so I'll have that coming up. But what I've been doing lately at night is when I'm going to bed and I close my eyes, I just think about like we were going to move. And so I was thinking about this new house. And I was thinking, okay, what are the things that I would want to have in a new house? An office. I don't have an office. I like a walkout basement. I want a garden tub. I want a pool. I wanted this. And just let all of these thoughts come into your mind. Like, what would a perfect house look like? And then think back about your own house. And then another activity I used to do with people is to go ahead and walk through your house as if you were going to put it on the market, as if you were with a realtor. You're the realtor in your house. And you're walking through this house and you're saying, oh, well, you need to fix this light fixture and this carpet needs to be cleaned and this, and make a whole list of whatever you would have to do in order to sell your house. And then use that as your checklist to start knocking things off that list, because we should live in our house as if it was ready for sale so we can enjoy all the benefits of what we would do if we were listing our house for sale.
That's so smart. You're so cool. I love these ideas.
Oh, thank you.
I love it. I'm going to do it. I'm getting the basket. I'm going to walk through. I think my husband, because he's very detail oriented, I think he walks through every day and notices what we need to do.
You've outsourced that.
I know. As I sit here and look at that one light that's needed a new light bulb for like 6 months. So it's about taking action. It's about believing in the possibility. And it's about really actually understanding and taking responsibility for the fact that all of this does make a difference in your ability to create love in your life.
Absolutely.
High five.
Thank you so much. This was so great.
I love chatting. I've had a professional organizer, just by the way, I'm a big fan, probably the same woman for about maybe 15 years. So awesome. She's coming back. We're doing the kitchen. It's going to be like no more Tupperware that's so old it's kind of brown.
Yes, I went to all Pyrex.
Really?
I was like, I'm so done with like trying to wash plasticware. I was like, forget it. My kids are, 17 and 18 years old. We don't need Tupperware, plasticware anymore. I went to all glass Pyrex.
I'm doing it. Wait, before we go, I have to ask one question. What is the magical tip for lids? How do you keep your lids from leaving your house or from getting lost? Because when I do that, it's like my biggest nightmare is lids for Pyrex and Tupperware.
Well, Pyrex you don't tend to lose because you don't lose the glass container.
Right.
And Pyrex lids are different. That's why I went to Pyrex. I don't have it for the plasticware. Usually what I was doing was I would buy that Gladware or the Ziploc ones. And every 6 months, I would just go buy a new 20.
Well, there you go. I like that.
That's what I did. And then I'd throw everything else away.
That's like this.
Which is not environmentally friendly, by the way.
It's definitely not. But what I love about it is instead of beating yourself up and like being frustrated for the next 6 months, you're just like, yeah, this is what happens. I accept it. I just go get new.
And that's true. How many things in our home do we, just, oh my gosh, my mom did it that way. My grandmother did it that way. I do it that way. You don't dress like your mom and your grandmother. You don't drive the car that they drive. You don't have the job that they had, but we run our houses like they did. Like that's a huge mindset thing too. But I know we're at the end.
Oh my God. Okay. Next episode is going to be like, don't live like your grandma did.
Yes, right.
Awesome. All right, Lisa, thanks for being here. Definitely want to have you back. Go get the basket. Show notes have all the links to get organized. It's, fall's coming, winter, whatever. Just do it. And don't forget, ladies, date with some damn dignity. We'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.